Back matchups of the year, highlighted at the very top by Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. That going down in week 3. Keep in mind, it is also the Bucs home opener. Let's welcome in Danny Kanell to go through his top quarterback matchups of the season. I'm really excited about number 5, by the way, because I want to work through that. But let's start with your number 1 here. Week 3, Bucs home opener. Aaron Rodgers coming to town. Why is this the best one?
For me, it's about seeing 2 of the all-time greats, Amanda, to ever play the position. Obviously, Tom Brady, the GOAT, the implications of what it could be. I think it's his last season in Tampa Bay, maybe his last season overall, but like anytime you have a chance to watch him play, you want to dial in. And then Aaron Rodgers, I'm fascinated to see how this season unfolds for him. I mean, back-to-back MVPs. Now he doesn't have his guy in Devontae Adams, who's they allowed to go because they had to pay Aaron Rodgers. And yet, we've seen this story before. He's been cast aside, and you think, oh, he has nobody to play and throw with, and what does he do? He goes out there and he elevates everyone else around him. So I'm fascinated that aspect. It's also a game that I think for the NFC has massive implications. Remember, just a couple years ago, Tom Brady went up to Lambeau and won that NFC Championship game to advance to the Super Bowl and eventually win it against the Chiefs. I think this game has Super Bowl implications too, because it could be a game that determines who's getting home field advantage in the NFC. You could see a rematch of this game in the playoffs, and it's early in the season. I love this matchup. 2 all-time greats. Cannot wait.
We're going to see, no surprise, Tom Brady on this list yet again. This is the only time, however, that Aaron Rodgers is on this list. Let's go to your second favorite quarterback matchup, week 6. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs hosting the Bill, the game after the game that has now changed the overtime rules in the postseason. All came down to a coin flip at the time. Why is this number 2 on your list?
Amanda, these are the 2 most physically gifted quarterbacks in the entire NFL. When you look at the total body, like the total package, when they've got the arm strength, they're both elusive, and they're both playing at an elite level. We've already obviously seen Patrick Mahomes get his Super Bowl, his massive breakout season. Then we've seen Josh Allen come into his own in Buffalo, a team that's knocking on the door. This, to me, is this era's Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady matchup, like the Tiger Woods versus Phil Mickelson. And unfortunately, right now for Josh Allen, he's playing the role of Phil Mickelson, where Patrick Mahomes is the Tiger Woods. But he has so much motivation to change that narrative, to get that, to advance past him in the playoffs. But in order to do it, he's got to get through him in the regular season as well. Another game, I think we could see a rematch in the postseason. But these 2 young guys, these are the future stars. They're already current stars, but these are the future stars for the next decade of the NFL. Uber talented, a lot of weapons to work with on the offensive side of the ball. I would expect another shootout, and probably going to be the one where at least when we get the last man standing on the field, like the last one with the ball, you will eventually have to see somebody come up with a stop. So I cannot wait to see these 2 go at it. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see more overtime thrillers with these 2 going at it.
The next one has to do with Josh Allen as well. We get Bills and Bengals. This is in crunch time. It's week 17. The last time these 2 teams faced one another, 2019. So Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, they've never gone up against one another. That's going to be great in itself. Danny, tell us about this one.
I'm looking at Joe Burrow, phenomenal breakout season. I'm curious to see what he can do. Can he back it up? Because I think people had the same question marks about Josh Allen after his breakout season a couple years ago. I think he'll be fine. I love Joe Burrow. And I mentioned the fact that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, I think, are going to be the, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Well, where does that leave Joe Burrow? Maybe he's the Drew Brees of this class. Like, these are the elite of the elite in the NFL for the near future. So I'm excited to see what Joe Burrow does with an offensive line that's been revamped, going against Josh Allen. I think this game will be a phenomenal matchup. Another one, Joe Burrow, I'm very curious to see organization that he elevated, took to the Super Bowl. But if you've looked at the history of Super Bowl losers, it has not been kind. But they haven't had quarterbacks on their franchises like Joe Burrow. So I'm very curious to see, can he back up that season that he had? And if I was willing to bet on it, I would say yes.
Speaking of Super Bowl losers, the one coming in at number 4 has to do with that a little bit. These 2 guys all too familiar with one another now. The last meeting, of course, was the Super Bowl. Chiefs at Bucs going down week 4. A return to the scene of the crime if you are the Chiefs and Raymond James here. Tell us about this game coming in at number 4 with these 2 guys.
I mean, you've got the GOAT versus the guy. I think we got a little bit out over our skis, Amanda, and, just crowning Patrick Mahomes the next Tom Brady. And, he could challenge him to be the GOAT. More physically gifted after he got that first Super Bowl and then goes back to it. Well, hold on a second. Tom Brady had a lot to say about that in that matchup. But this does feel almost like a passing of the torch of Tom Brady getting up there in age. How many more years does he have left? And Patrick Mahomes, the emerging superstar, signs the mega deal with the Chiefs. They've even decided, you know what? We're going to ship off Tyreek Hill because we think Patrick Mahomes is just fine with Travis Kelce and some other guys we can put around him. So that aspect to me is going to tell a lot of the storyline for the Chiefs this year. And if they don't excel, there's going to be a lot of people questioning, all right, did we overvalue Patrick Mahomes? I don't think they did. I think Travis Kelce, as long as he's in there stretching the field vertically, they'll be fine. And Andy Reid, the offensive genius that he is, he'll figure out other ways to get creative with some of those other offensive weapons. But again, Super Bowl rematch, couple quarterbacks we've seen play before on the biggest stage and two of the biggest brands in the game. Sign me up for this all day, every day.
Danny, I said number 5 was interesting because we're not looking at two specific quarterbacks. You're going with any AFC West divisional game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these matchups we talked about a bit out of division games, but I just look at this division and it's clearly the strongest division in all of football. And it's in large part because of the quarterbacks. And when the Denver Broncos made the move for Russell Wilson, said, this just got a lot more interesting. And here's the thing, Amanda. I think I had to rank these top 1 to 4. And it's hard. I had Patrick Mahomes 1, Russell Wilson 2, Justin Herbert 3, and Derek Carr 4. And I had Justin Herbert fans mad at me saying, how could you put him 3? And I think what's crazy about this, because I don't think anybody would put Derek Carr higher than 4th in this list. Derek Carr is a dark horse candidate for the MVP. This is a quarterback that all he does is go out there, complete 70% of his passes, over 4,000 yards. He's getting a new coach. He gets Aaron Rodgers' old best friend and Devontae Adams. I think he could have a monster year with a fresh start in Josh McDaniels. So any which way you slice it, when these quarterbacks are facing each other in these divisional matchups, which we should be so grateful we get twice a season, I think you're going to want to tune in. It's going to be must-see TV. I love this division. I love the quarterbacks. I think it's going to provide a lot of entertainment.
Danny, since Pete Prisco's on his sabbatical of sorts, even though I'm pretty sure he works at some point this week, do you want to pull up Pete Prisco and say one that is just absolutely terrible, or just some team where you're like, I don't care who they're playing, this is not must-watch TV at all?
Yeah, I'll say that. All right, I don't have the schedule in front of me, so I don't know who plays each other. The Panthers, whoever they're playing, quarterback questions abound, and the Texans. I know Davis Mills people are high on, but I don't know if I'm just sold yet. To me, almost feels like the Texans are going to be in the market for one of these top 5 picks next year when, the scouts and teams are salivating over the top 3 quarterbacks coming out this year. And then Carolina, is Sam Darnold going to survive, or is Matt Corral, who they drafted to compete with him, will he be in there playing? Either way, if you get Sam Darnold or you get Matt Corral, kind of cutting his teeth as a young rookie, I don't think that'll be stellar quarterback play there. So the teams to me that you want to avoid, the bottom 5, are the teams that are going to be drafting top 5 next year. So I guess there's hope for those franchises. You go ahead and you tank for Bryce Young, you tank for CJ Stroud, you tank for maybe a dark horse that emerges this next year. But there are some teams, a select few, that have atrocious quarterback play right now, and I would not want to watch those unless you're trying to, do some sort of teaching film and you want to learn from their mistakes. Other than that, there's some couple franchises I think are in dire need of a quarterback.
Jack, our producer, is going with Panthers Seahawks going down December 11th.
There you go.
So there you go. We're going to go with that one.
That is old. That one slammed the door shut. That's the done one, too, because you got question marks all over the place. Drew Lock, fresh start in Seattle. Clearly, the Broncos got the better end of that deal. And, is Drew Lock versus Sam Darnold? I mean, it speaks for itself.
He'd like to see Geno Sam Darnold. That's what he's going with there. Danny, thank you so much. Good luck coaching golf. I know you're in the middle of that right now. Latest Pick 6 podcast breaking down the NFL quarterbacks into tiers, which quarterbacks are at the top and at the bottom of the list. Make sure to download and follow. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.